Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Today we're going to talk about something few people dare to speak about honestly, the truth about female attraction. It's more than physical looks, more than charm. It's a silent language built on ancient instincts, emotional nuance, and unspoken rules that most men have never been taught to understand. If you're a man who's been confused by women's behavior, if you've ever wondered why being nice doesn't work, or why she lost interest after seeming obsessed at first, this video will expose the deeper reality. This isn't just about dating tips, this is about awakening the man within you who attracts without begging, who inspires love through strength, not softness, who walks in truth and purpose, and whose presence alone demands respect. We're going to break this down into 4 powerful chapters, each diving into ancient truths, emotional wisdom, and practical advice that will reshape how you see love, attraction, and yourself as a man. Before we begin, comment below. What's one thing you wish you had known earlier about attraction and women? I read every one of your thoughts, and your experience could help another man wake up. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Attraction is not a choice, it's a response to energy. Let's start with a truth that society buries under layers of lies and confusion. Female attraction is not a logical decision. It's a visceral, emotional response to the energy a man carries. This is why so many men are left confused. They do everything right. They're respectful, kind, and accommodating. They ask her what she wants and try to be that man. And yet, she pulls away. She loses interest. She gets bored. Because attraction, real, primal attraction, doesn't come from pleasing her. It comes from a man standing in his truth, presence, and power. You see, from the time of ancient tribes to modern cities, women have evolved to sense what kind of man they are standing in front of, not based on his words, but based on his energy. In the ancient world, a woman didn't have time to deliberate if a man was nice. She needed to feel in her gut whether he could protect, lead, and provide stability in a chaotic world. That instinct is still alive today. A man's centeredness is more attractive than his compliments. His calm under pressure is sexier than his abs. His silence with presence is louder than empty words. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells men. Attraction is triggered not when you chase her, but when you chase your purpose. Because a woman doesn't want to be the center of your life. She wants to join a man whose life already has meaning. When a man becomes desperate for her attention, when he makes her his reason for breathing, he kills the very thing that attracted her in the first place. She doesn't want to be your oxygen. She wants to be the fire that joins a man who's already burning. So if you're wondering why women pull away after being so into you, it's likely because you gave her the throne too quickly. And to be clear, this isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. This is about being a man rooted in himself, unshaken by her moods, undistracted by her tests, and unapologetically focused on his growth. That's what creates polarity. That's what keeps her feminine. That's what makes her respect you and stay attracted for the long term. So how do you develop that presence? Look at the ancient Stoics. Marcus Aurelius didn't beg anyone for validation. He faced war, betrayal, loss, and stayed composed. That composure is what women still long for today in a man. Presence is power. When you walk into a room and feel no need to prove yourself, no need to seek approval, no need to perform, that's when women feel your energy most intensely, because while modern society praises the loud, flashy, attention-seeking man, women are deeply drawn to the quiet man whose energy fills the room even in silence. She might not even understand it, but she feels it. So stop trying to earn attraction. Start embodying who you were meant to be. Because when you lead yourself, emotionally, financially, spiritually, women follow without you having to say a word. Comment below. What's one moment in your life where you felt most powerful, most centered, most attractive as a man? Share your story below. Chapter 2. Why she's attracted to mystery, not predictability. Let's talk about something that confuses many men. You give her consistency. You give her attention. You answer every text right away. You plan the dates, pay the bills, and say yes to everything she wants. And yet, she pulls away, or worse, she says, "I just don't feel it anymore." Here's the truth that modern dating advice refuses to tell you. Women don't fall in love with comfort. They fall in love with curiosity. A man who is predictable too soon becomes invisible too soon. Now, this doesn't mean you should play games or be emotionally unavailable, but attraction thrives in mystery, and mystery is born when a man doesn't reveal everything right away. Why? Because mystery activates a woman's feminine imagination. It draws her into the unknown. It makes her want to explore, chase, and discover you slowly over time. You have to understand, feminine energy is fluid, emotional, intuitive. It loves to dance in uncertainty, to feel, not to analyze. If a woman can predict your every move, if she knows you'll answer the moment she calls, if you're too available too soon, her emotional curiosity dies. And when curiosity dies, so does attraction. You see, in the ancient world, women were drawn to men who were connected to something larger than the relationship. Warriors, hunters, philosophers, men who disappeared into their mission. And when they returned, they brought depth, strength, stories, presence. Women were not chasing men who were always at home asking, "What should we do today?" They were waiting, longing, imagining. And in that longing, attraction grew. Modern men have forgotten the power of this. They confuse accessibility with love. But women don't want a man who's always there. They want a man who is there fully when he is, but whose life is too full, too meaningful, to be constantly available. That's where mystery is born. And mystery isn't about being fake. It's about being focused. Your focus on your mission, your time in solitude, your emotional discipline. These aren't detractions from your relationship. They are the very things that fuel her attraction to you. So here's the lesson. Don't give her your soul before she's earned your presence. Don't open your entire book. Let her read you page by page, because the man who reveals himself too soon robs her of the thrill of discovering him. Now let's make something clear. This isn't about emotional distance or manipulation. This is about owning your space as a man. You don't need to chase her to keep her. You need to be so grounded in your essence that she feels lucky just to be part of your story. Mystery is a natural byproduct of purpose. When you are deeply immersed in building, in growing, in becoming, you're not constantly updating her on your every move. And that is powerful. She feels it. She wonders about you. She leans in emotionally because she senses that you are not consumed by her. You're consumed by something greater. And that, paradoxically, pulls her even closer. So if you're the man always texting, always available, always planning every move, ask yourself this: are you leading your life, or are you orbiting hers? Real attraction is not maintained through constant attention. It's maintained through tension, the good kind, the kind that leaves space for her to miss you, wonder about you, and respect the man you are when she's not around. Drop a comment below. Have you ever given too much of yourself too soon and watched her pull away? Share what it taught you. Your story might be exactly what another man needs to hear. Chapter 3. The emotional roller coaster. She secretly craves. Let's strip away all the noise and get to a core truth that most men are never taught. Women don't fall for comfort. They fall for emotional impact. Now I know that sounds strange. Many men think, if I just make her feel safe, comfortable, and always agree with her, she'll love me forever. But in reality, that's not how feminine attraction works. The feminine craves depth, intensity, emotion. That doesn't mean drama or chaos. It means a man who knows how to move her emotionally, who can lead her through a range of emotional experiences that wake her up, make her feel alive, and shake her out of numbness. Why? Because the feminine is wired to feel. Her world is built around emotion, intuition, and energy. And when a man offers her nothing but logic, politeness, and emotional predictability, she starts to feel like she's dying inside. This is why women say things like, "He's a good guy, but something's missing. I wish I could feel something with him, but I just can't." She's not being cruel. She's expressing something very real. You're not moving her emotionally. Let's go back to ancient wisdom. In every myth, every story of love and passion, the woman doesn't fall for the man who's just nice. She falls for the man who leads her through a journey, one where she laughs, cries, feels safe, feels seen, feels challenged. Think of Odysseus and Penelope. She waited decades, not just because he was loyal, but because he was legendary. He lived with depth, endured storms, fought monsters, and returned with a soul forged in fire. Women want that man, not the one who texts back in 0.2 seconds and says, "Whatever you want, babe." Modern men have been taught to be emotionally soft, to avoid conflict, to agree, to suppress their masculinity in fear of offending, but a man who knows how to handle her storm without losing his center, that man is unforgettable. She wants to feel a strong emotional presence that grounds her, even when she's chaotic. She wants the challenge of a man who doesn't fold at every emotional outburst. She wants the stimulation of a man who brings mystery, edge, and deep passion into her life, not just routines and polite dinners. If every moment with you is calm, predictable, and emotionally flat, she'll eventually start seeking that emotional spark somewhere else, even if it's just in her imagination. This doesn't mean you should create fights or pretend to be someone you're not, but it does mean you need to lead her emotionally. You do this by being grounded when she tests you, holding space when she's emotional instead of reacting, teasing her playfully, challenging her, making her laugh, knowing when to step away, when to draw boundaries, and when to re-engage with masculine warmth. In doing so, you create a polarity that pulls her in again and again, not because you're trying to manipulate her, but because you're being the kind of man who can dance with her emotions without losing yourself. And that is rare. It's rare to find a man who doesn't flinch at feminine chaos. It's rare to find a man who doesn't need her approval to feel secure. It's rare to find a man who can stir a woman's soul and still walk away when she disrespects his worth. Be that man. Don't fear her emotions. Learn to lead through them. Because when you do, she'll never forget how you made her feel, not through words, not through gifts, but through the roller coaster of aliveness you brought into her world. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were doing everything right, but something still felt flat or off? Share what you discovered about emotional polarity. Chapter 4. Masculine Detachment, the silent force that makes her chase. Let's close with one of the most powerful yet misunderstood forces in the entire realm of male-female attraction. Masculine detachment. The quiet strength that makes her feel your presence more than any words ever could. Now let's be clear, detachment does not mean being emotionally numb. It does not mean ignoring her, disrespecting her, or playing cold-hearted games. True masculine detachment is something deeper. It's the ability to love with a full heart without letting that love make you lose yourself. It's knowing that you can be fully present with a woman, open, warm, and engaged, but also walk away without hesitation if she violates your standards or your peace. And this, my brother, is where most men fall. They confuse attachment with love. They think needing her is a sign of passion, but what it really shows is lack of inner grounding. The man who needs her attention, who fears losing her, who makes her his entire emotional center, becomes a man she can no longer respect. And once respect dies, attraction isn't far behind. Now contrast that with the man who lives with purpose, a man who wakes up driven not by her texts or her validation, but by his mission, his growth, and his code. He values her, yes, but he doesn't need her. And in that energy, she feels something she can't quite explain. She feels safe. She feels drawn in. She feels the irresistible gravity of a man who leads his own life. This kind of man doesn't chase when she pulls away. He doesn't argue with her moods. He doesn't abandon himself just to keep her around because he knows if she's aligned, she'll stay. If she's testing, he'll pass without bending. And if she walks, he lets her with his dignity fully intact. That is masculine detachment. And it is not indifference, it is self-respect in its highest form. Let's go back to the ancients. In the Stoic tradition, a man was measured not by how much he could acquire, but by how little he was enslaved by what he loved. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." Why? Because clinging is weakness, and the more you cling, the more you strangle the very attraction you're trying to keep alive. Women don't want a man who clings, they want a man who chooses them but never loses himself in the process. When you detach emotionally from outcomes, when you let go of needing to control her feelings, her responses, her actions, you send an unmistakable message: I am complete, I am whole, I am rooted, with or without you. And it's that energy that makes her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time. Masculine safety, masculine clarity, masculine power. It's the quiet confidence of a man who can love deeply but still walk away when needed. Not out of spite, but out of principle. Because here's the truth, when you're detached, she feels safe to fully be herself. She can express, feel, melt, because she senses that you're not emotionally clinging to her response. And that makes her chase you, not because you're playing a role, but because she senses that your life has gravity. She feels that you're not auditioning for her affection. You've already cast yourself as the lead in your own story, and she can choose to join or watch from the distance. Either way, you move forward. This is the silent power most men never discover, and it changes everything. So the next time you find yourself over-investing, overthinking, or fearing her loss, ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? Her, or the version of myself that depended on her? Because the man who can let go of what no longer serves him is the man women chase but can never truly possess. Drop a comment below. What has detachment taught you in your own journey as a man? Your experience could be the spark that brings clarity to someone else. If this video awakened something in you, if it cut through the noise and made you feel something real, then don't let this be just another video you scroll past. Like this video if you felt the power of this message. That tells the algorithm that more men need to hear the truth. Share this with a friend or brother who's chasing women and losing himself in the process. He needs to hear what no one else is telling him. Subscribe to the Stoicgoldentribe because we're building a space where men rise in strength, in wisdom, and in silence that speaks louder than words. And drop a comment. This isn't just content. This is a brotherhood. And your words might be the ones another man needed to hear tonight. Stand tall, be still in your strength, lead with presence, and never forget, she's not your purpose. Your purpose is what makes her want to follow.